Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Ciciley Littlewolf, and first, before we go ahead and get started here, I wanted to congratulate and tell you how proud I am of every single one of you, class of 2020. We are living through some trying times as we are making our way through this pandemic, and the flexibility that everyone is displaying is just phenomenal. So first, one thing I want to do is start off with is kind of let you guys know who I am. So I am a member of the Northern Cheyenne Tribe. I grew up just outside Busby, Montana, and I'm going to give you just a little backstory on who I am, because I think it's important to know that I am no different than every single one of you. I was raised by a single parent. Her name is Esther Littlewolf. I was one of 6 kids, and we grew up right outside Busby in a little hut home. And I remember growing up, and our plumbing didn't work sometimes. It was hard to get water sometimes. I remember having to heat up pots of water in order to take a bath in the morning. So even having a bath was a luxury. I remember growing up hungry. I remember watching my mother struggle, trying to raise 6 kids on her own. And when I was about to enter junior high, she actually moved us off the reservation, and that was a huge culture shock. I remember feeling alone and isolated as I made my way through the world off the reservation, trying to figure out how I fit as a Native American in the world. I kind of want to talk a little bit about high school just a little bit. So high school was no different for me than growing up on the reservation. I had to get a job at 14 in order to buy the things that I wanted. And that meant going to school from 8 to 3, 4 o'clock, and then working from 4 to 9, sometimes 5 to 10, in order to buy the things, clothes, things I want, because when you're a teenager, those things are so important. And I had to work hard for everything that I bought for myself and anything I ever wanted. I was fortunate enough to graduate high school the same year that my mother graduated from college. And I stayed at the University of South Dakota, and that's where I met my husband. But just as I was entering college, I joined the the South Dakota Army National Guard. I remember going in, and I wanted to be a medic. For whatever reason, I knew that medicine was what I wanted to do. And in fact, at a young age, I remember telling one of my cousins as we were playing outside our house, and I remember saying, I'm going to be a doctor. So as I made my way through the National Guard, I was lucky enough to score high enough on the ASVAB where I could be a medic. And to be honest, one of the reasons I joined the National Guard was because a classmate had mentioned women can't be in the military. Well, I couldn't have that, and I wanted to prove that person wrong. And I remember saying, I'm going to be faster than you, and I'm going to outrank you. And within a couple of years, I actually did that. I kind of always been quietly competitive at everything I do. And one thing that I think that set me apart from, everybody I knew was I always had goals. I always had goals. Today, I still have goals. I sit down, I think about what I want to accomplish in this next month, 2 months, 3 months, and I always meet my objectives. And if I don't meet them, that's okay. So I feel like my life in this year, and maybe you guys feel the same way, has a theme. I feel that if my life had a theme, and if 2020 had a theme, it's resiliency. And what is resiliency? It's the capacity to recover quickly through difficulties, through difficult situations. It's about adapting and overcoming these situations. And as I sat down and I thought about this, and I want to share some things I've learned through my resiliency as I survive difficult times, because as some of you are sitting there, I know you've survived difficult times. Maybe you're going through a difficult time right now. But I wanted to share some key things of success that I hope some of you will be able to adapt into your own life. And the number one thing that I had to overcome as a young adult was surviving the deaths of my two siblings. Tony was the first one to pass away, and a few years later, my brother Sean passed away. Both Tony at age 28 and then Sean at age 33. And as I face these difficult times, I want you to remember, because this statement has brought me through so many hard times, is sometimes stuff happens. We cannot control it. We cannot explain away or find a purpose for it. But what we can do is use that experience and channel that energy into something else. So once I realized that I couldn't explain away and I didn't have to find a reason for difficult times, I chose to use my energy. I chose to be choosy and stingy about how I spend my time. I think it's at that time when I started setting goals. First it was finishing college after they passed. After that it was obtaining a higher rank in the National Guard, and ultimately becoming a doctor. So I would encourage all of you to set goals. And whether these are small goals, more educational goals, personal goals, goals within your family, because these are all important. These are all places we need to spend our energy. And if one thing I've realized during this pandemic is spending time with family is extremely important, especially when, like myself and many of you might have experienced, being around family seems to be a luxury right now. And another thing I wanted to share with all of you is learn from your mistakes. I have made so many mistakes in my lifetime. I remember, and when I went to the University of South Dakota, that, when I met my husband, I was so in love that I actually flunked out of school that semester. But instead of kind of burying myself in the hole, I learned from those mistakes. I had to retake those courses. I had to be better. So resiliency is about not always knowing why things are happening, using that energy to set goals, and then learning from those mistakes. How are you going to do it better next time? Because learning from your mistakes is an opportunity to do it again, an opportunity to do it better. And as I finish up this conversation with all of you, I want all of you to feel super accomplished about your educational endeavor. Not everybody can do this. You are special. You are determined. You are smart. You are intelligent. And I know all of you can do exactly what you want to do, whether that is becoming a doctor, a nurse, being a teacher. These are all within your grasp. And I know every single one of you can do it. You just have to set your goals. And if you fall or make a mistake, pick yourself up, learn from it, and most of all, have the capacity to recover quickly, which is resiliency. I'd like to thank all of you for allowing me to take a few minutes of your day, and then congratulations. Congratulations to all of you, to your families.